Rule 23. The emotional contrast shift. If you need to deliver bad news or a heavy demand, present an exponentially worse, terrifying scenario first, let them panic for a brief moment, and then pull it back to reveal the actual, milder reality. Psychological pain is entirely relative. By contrasting your actual demand against an absolute nightmare scenario, the real bad news feels like a massive relief, making them accept it with almost zero resistance. Rule 24. The open loop. Mental hook. When ending a conversation with someone you want to keep thinking about you, drop an intriguing, unfinished statement right before you walk away. For example, "I just realized something wild about that project, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. Have a great night." This triggers the Zeigarnik effect, the human brain's absolute obsession with incomplete tasks or open stories. Their mind will automatically loop your unfinished sentence all evening, keeping you firmly lodged in their thoughts. Rule 25. The status quo labeling. When someone is hesitant to change their mind or try something new, label their current hesitation as a sign of their admirable caution and calculated wisdom, rather than calling them stubborn. If you call them stubborn, they will lock down to defend their ego. By labeling their resistance as a positive, high-status trait like wisdom, you allow them to safely transition to your side without losing face. They can now say, "Because I am wise and cautious, I have evaluated this and decided to proceed." Rule 26. The satiated negotiation. Never pitch a high-stakes deal, ask for a raise, or attempt a difficult reconciliation while the other person is hungry. Wait until exactly 20 minutes after they have finished a heavy, satisfying meal. When the body is processing food, glucose levels spike, calming the nervous system and shifting the brain from a defensive, critical state into a cooperative, agreeable mood. Rule 27. The forced identity upgrade. When dealing with someone who is consistently lazy or underperforming, do not scold them. Instead, publicly thank them for a trait they haven't shown yet. Say, "I love working with you because your attention to detail is always top tier." To avoid the psychological discomfort of looking like a fraud, their brain will subconsciously force them to step up and match the high-status identity you just handed them. Rule 28. The false authority pause. If someone is trying to pressure you into making a hasty decision on a call or in a meeting, do not argue. Simply look at your phone or watch, pause, and say, "I need to run this past my legal counsel first." Or, "Let me double-check the compliance guidelines on this." Even if you are the sole decision-maker, invoking a vague, higher regulatory entity completely freezes their high-pressure tactics. Rule 29. The out-group isolation. To instantly weaken a tight defensive clique or partnership that is working against you, subtly praise only one member of that group in front of the others while completely ignoring the rest. The unpraised members will instantly experience quiet flashes of envy and suspicion, causing the group to naturally fracture from the inside out, without you ever firing a direct shot. Rule 30. The false memory implantation. If you want someone to take ownership of an action or idea that was actually yours, frame it as a shared history. Say, "Do you remember last month when you beautifully pointed out that we should change our approach? I've been acting on that ever since." Because human memory is highly malleable, their ego will greedily grab onto the praise, and they will genuinely believe the idea was theirs all along. Rule 31. The premature closure interruption. When you are losing an argument or find yourself in a socially losing position, deliberately drop an object, like your car keys, a pen, or a glass of water. The sudden, chaotic sensory interruption completely breaks the other person's cognitive momentum and train of thought, giving you a golden 5-second window to change the topic or smoothly exit the room. Rule 32. The linguistic mirror trap. To make someone feel an instant, deep sense of familiarity and safety around you, carefully listen to the specific slang, unique idioms, or metaphors they use in the first 2 minutes of conversation. Inject those exact phrases back into your dialogue 10 minutes later. The brain naturally equates linguistic similarity with tribal safety, bypassing their usual social defenses. Rule 33. The I don't care anchor. When you desperately want a specific outcome in a negotiation, enter the room with your mind entirely made up that you are 100% willing to walk away with absolutely nothing. Humans can subconsciously smell desperation, anxiety, and micro-movements of need. When you project a genuine, cold aura of total detachment, the other party's survival instinct panics, forcing them to chase you. Rule 34. The calculated intermittent distance. If you have been incredibly warm, attentive, and highly engaging with someone for several weeks, deliberately pull back your emotional intensity by 50% for 48 hours without a clear explanation. Do not be mean, just be polite, but noticeably brief. This sudden shift triggers an immediate anxiety loop in their brain, causing them to obsessively analyze what they did wrong and crave your validation again. Rule 35, the third-party compliment hack. Never praise someone directly to their face if you want it to have maximum impact. Instead, tell a mutual friend a highly specific, glowing compliment about that person, knowing full well it will get back to them. Direct compliments are often viewed with suspicion or filtered through social modesty, but a compliment filtered through a third party is accepted as absolute, unvarnished truth. Rule 36. The scent signature association. Choose one highly unique, high-quality, and uncommon fragrance and wear it absolutely everywhere you go. Never change it. Scent is the only sense that bypasses the logical brain and hooks directly into the olfactory bulb and amygdala, the centers of memory and emotion. Years later, anyone who smells that specific note anywhere in the world will immediately experience an invasive mental flash of you. Rule 37. The yes set momentum. Before asking someone for a massive, difficult favor, get them to say the word yes to 3 small, undeniable, and effortless questions in a row. For example, is it raining outside? Are we still on for lunch? Did you get that email? The brain builds cognitive momentum. Once it slides into a repetitive track of agreement, it becomes highly unnatural and jarring for it to suddenly switch gears and say no to your main request. Rule 38. The I-shift deception shield. When you are delivering a highly calculated statement or a strategic lie, maintain intense, unbroken eye contact with the other person, but specifically focus on the bridge of their nose, right between their eyes. To them, it looks like an intimidating, fearless gaze. To you, it removes the emotional feedback of their eyes, keeping your own heart rate perfectly steady and preventing your micro-expressions from giving you away. Rule 39. The unfinished favor leverage. When you do something incredibly high value or highly helpful for someone and they profusely thank you, never say, "No problem," or "It was nothing." Instead, smile and say, "Of course, I know you'd do the exact same for me if the roles were reversed." This instantly creates a heavy psychological debt of reciprocity in their mind that remains completely open until they pay you back in full. Rule 40. The strategic mispronunciation. When dealing with an arrogant, highly narcissistic person who is trying to intimidate you with their status, deliberately mispronounce their name, their title, or the name of their favorite luxury brand slightly. Act completely accidental about it. By treating their ultimate source of pride as something common and forgettable, you silently strip them of their perceived social dominance.